Hey there, School of Tomorrow teachers. Some of you have been eager to try the Quadrace Jupyter notebook because you know you can just grab it directly from um, my GitHub repo, Elite School, and in theory you can run it in the cloud, say at Google Colab. But because I use high precision, you could say arbitrary precision, Gimpy 2, you're stumped because Colab doesn't come with that. And what's the secret formula for getting it to work? Well, here it is. Thank you to Patrick Barton. He was my coworker for some years at the O'Reilly School of Technology. This is our last year. That's me sitting between a couple of the principals. And our theme that year was internationalization. This is quite a talented group, these PyCon people. They spread out and dominate the world, so to speak. Just good skills to have. Speaking of which, I've got my resume rethought, like redone. Thinking to keep it simpler than usual. And so the O'Reilly School interlude is embedded in there, but really it's 4D solutions all the way back to 1990 when I came out of the Center for Urban Education, and before that, McGraw-Hill, before that, Americans for Civic Participation, and before that, a high school teacher in Jersey City. I think of it as Gotham. That was quite the interlude. And before that, Princeton University, right? So what you want to do is get a copy of this notebook, which I have called, let's see, I've saved it in my Google Drive. It's called Copy of Quadrace IPYNB, but you don't have to find it in my Google Drive. Just find it at Elite School in my GitHub repo at 4dsolutions.net. So I'll put the link in the description section. Now you've seen me flashing through these pictures about Homer Davenport. We've talked about him on this channel. A great cartoonist who worked during the Hearst era with the, well, what can I say, with the political cast. He made fun of McKinley, as I recall, but you know how that ended badly anyway. So yeah, Homer Davenport became a very influential political cartoonist, and not always with Hearst, right? And our friend and wanderer Gus Frederick, who helps organize and studies this history and the festival, it's all about Silverton, Oregon. And it's very high level of self-awareness about its history, thanks to the people who live there taking advantage of what I call place-based education. Like, go to Silverton if you want to see what place-based education can look like for your community. It's really well done. And this coming weekend, August 6th to 8th, they're having what they call Homer Days, or let's see, what's the technical name of this festival? This is, let's see, one line back maybe, Homer Davenport Community Festival, exactly. That's the cartoonist I'm talking about. You can search on Google, look at some of his cartoons. He's before my time, right? We're going back a generation earlier, but he did bring Arabian horses to Silverton, and one of those horses was Mr. Ed, one of the descendants of those Arabian horses. Mr. Ed, as in the TV show Mr. Ed. He died at the age of 45, I see, of pneumonia. That's quite a short life. So I call this place-based education as well. And in my channel, if you go back through the many YouTubes I have for you, you'll find previous mentions of Silverton and how we connect through Silverton to some of the more interesting intellectual currents in the area that flow back to all kinds of other origins. We study origins here, like the Silicon Forest origins. I was just writing recently about Doug Strain, who helped us acquire as ISEP the Linus Pauling House. ISEP being the nonprofit that sponsors the Linus Pauling lecture series, or has over the years, right? I mentioned it briefly in the previous video. So this is, you could say, in my neighborhood, this organization. And what Terry and I have been doing, Terry's the president of it, has been just playing around with a more advanced level of Zoom. And so there's me, I'm using Camtasia to record Camtasia here. And I look like Bill Maher, some people think. Another person told me at OSCON that I look like a fat Julian Assange. I think that would be a good thing for Assange to get fattened up. Let him out and let him eat. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. And we'll continue with this. You see the point here of this the main point of this video is you don't have to install a lot of stuff. You can, in the cloud, without putting anything on your computer, you can start using quadratic coordinates, because I have the script that basically recreates the environment you need, kind of bootstraps itself into the same sort of environment that we have at the elite school, which is where we are studying topics of the future, right? School of Tomorrow is leaning towards the future. You could say we're leaning into the wind, which doesn't mean we don't study the past. We have to become very rooted in the past. Watch my video on Sam Hill, for example. Very rooted in the past in order to have any hope of sort of anticipating the future. As we may think, check it out, Dr. Vannevar Bush, Atlantic magazine. Back in what, 47 was it? He predicted Google search engines. Anyway, here we are. He was with the National Science Foundation. All right, talk to you guys later.